This video is going to be a look at the Lions offense and their week 2 loss to the Seahawks, but specifically a look at their offense in the fourth quarter after falling behind by 10 points. Let me explain. I like to do videos in this style, what I would consider a possession focus. I usually do one each week about the Ravens. This particular week I picked their first drive against the Bengals because it was so complete, so multiple, and they executed a ton of concepts. Really got the Bengals defense off guard. I could do one of these each week for the Lions if people are interested. Why do I like to do the possession videos? I like to see the progression of how plays are called, and sometimes you get things that are connected to something that happened earlier in the game. I don't necessarily suspect that to be the case here. This is actually going to be a look at two possessions, to be honest with you, with some comment on how they were handled. And it's not really my intention to focus on that last possession for the Lions, down 31-28 at home, ball on the 50 with, I think, a minute 44 left, something like that, with, I believe, 3 timeouts left. Definitely 2, but I believe 3. This video more so is going to be complimentary. And I know as a Lions fan, if you're listening, first of all, thank you. But second of all, it's probably hard to fathom having just gone through another shootout loss to the Seahawks at home with multiple players getting hurt on top of it, including another offensive lineman. And I think it's quite clear from the preseason that the offensive line was not as deep as other positions on the team. Let's do it that way. Additionally, the outside linebacker position suffered injuries. And so it's fine with me if, as a Lions fan, you're incapable of accepting compliments about the way the offense responded. You have to recall, I'm a coach, and I'm looking at this from somewhat of an outsider's perspective. I get it, though, from a fan perspective or any perspective associated with the Lions, it's a really bad loss. But I want to focus on the last 2 offensive possessions because I've been there in terms of a bad loss and how it feels, and you have to find a way to pick something when your players show you who they really are. So this pick 6 by Brown, who played a heck of a game. I think he's the guy who forced the fumble on Amon-Ra St. Brown in the end of the second quarter. He's also the guy that had the pick 6 with a little over 8 minutes left that puts the Seahawks up 31-21. The crowd and the Lions, clearly had to be stunned. At this point, you had St. Brown in and out with an injury. I think David Montgomery by this time was hurt. Like I said, a second starting offensive lineman hurt after the first one was hurt against the Chiefs. At this point, to me, you see what the Lions' offense is made of. I think Ben Johnson and Goff and other guys just go to work. You got 10 plays, 75 yards on this drive, 6 touchdown. Defense gets a stop, 6 plays, 30 yards for the game-tying field goal, with some of their options being removed. So I'm talking about St. Brown being hurt, Montgomery being out at some point during this drive. Could the final possession have been handled differently? Would I have advocated for it to push the pace? Yes. But maybe they were trying to cook it and not leave the Seahawks any time. But let's get to the film and see what you guys actually did. And some of these dudes who made plays, Josh Reynolds is playing incredible football, I think, in the first 2 weeks. Khalif Raymond has been a dangerous player. I'm a Ravens fan, so I remember him burning us for a touchdown. First play of the second quarter in the 2020 playoff game when he played for the Titans. Beautiful concept. Jahmyr Gibbs converts a 3rd and 7 on this drive. Sam Laporta clutch catches. Jared Goff. He threw his first interception here in this game. But so far, 50 of 70 passing. 71%. I think 70, maybe 72, almost 72. 576 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and his yards per attempt is higher than last year. Let's get to the film. First play, down 10, a little over 8 minutes left. It's a fast sweep to Raymond out of 11 personnel to the boundary. Man, Ben Johnson, to me, looks like a guy who knows who he is in terms of what he wants his offense to do, what he wants them to be. Also, you have a ridiculous penalty here. The only thing I can guess is that this outside linebacker does not know that the ball's been handed off. This is the type of thing that just doesn't happen now in football these days because people get suspended. I suspect he probably doesn't know that Jared Goff doesn't have the football. That's about as bad of a quarterback hit behind the play as you'll ever see, giving him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't know. All right, very next play after the 12-yard gain and then the penalty, incomplete pass to Raymond. A great job, and this is Brown again. I don't even know who the guy is. I think he's from Oklahoma, but great job on what I would call divider technique. Now, divider technique is not the same thing in the NFL or high level college football as it is in like high school, where you can get away with certain things. But divider technique, and I think there's actually a coverage mix up by the nickel to the field. But if you get two verticals, and let's say you're playing cover three, you want to divide them. And I'm not saying this is what NFL players always try to do, because I think they have a blown coverage here, but this is what Brown ends up doing. He ends up playing between these two verticals by himself. Eyes on the quarterback, sees that the route is open. I mean, this should be a completion in terms of the receiver is open, but it's a great job by Brown of closing in. Now, do I think the Seahawks actually call that divider technique? No, but conceptually, the way that it works out, that's a thing that we have taught our kids to do, and I've seen it done with great effect on two verticals to your side, basically one guy guarding two with the free safety in the middle of the field, able to help out. But a great play by Brown, unfortunately for the Lions, otherwise you would have had a touchdown there probably. All right, so then a sack on 2nd and 10 at a Pro Twins A. Sets the Lions back. I think you're looking at a little over 6:40 left, something like that. Stunt, the guy stunts inside, folds inside. 2-yard loss, ends up being, I think, 3rd and 12. I'm going to have a short video out Thursday morning on Sam Laporta. This dude's just a baller. I mean, everything he does well. I don't know about his blocking, to be honest with you, from a standpoint of how consistent it was, but I saw enough of him against the Chiefs to know what he's capable of. He beats Kobe Bryant here on this little in cut. I'm going to give you the end zone angle too, by the way, so you can see how ridiculous of a catch it was. He's a guy that size-wise is a tough cover for these nickel DBs, strong safeties, whatever. The Seahawks have an inside linebacker off the field here, and they're trying to generate pass rush and get an extra cover guy in the box. That's Bryant, number 8. Good football player from Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. That's a ridiculous catch by Laporta. Bobby Wagner brings him down. Clutch play on 3rd and 12, gets the first down. 1st and 10, Joker's spread. I love this stuff, man. When they put two tailbacks in the backfield, the Ravens did a little bit of this, but they didn't do it with two tailbacks necessarily. They did it with Devin Duvernay, who's a receiver, somewhat similar to Khalif Raymond in that he's really fast, but more of a straight line player. But two running backs in the backfield. And watch this linebacker for the Seahawks. He identifies something on this motion by Gibbs. I think it's Gibbs and Craig Reynolds back here. He knows that something's coming back to the boundary, stays with the screen. Now, he doesn't finish off the play, but he does impede the running back's progress. Second guy finishes it off. I love stuff like this. Being a former defensive coordinator, I love when you see players who are aware of a tendency or something that's there. You just got to give the Seahawks credit. I think they played very well on defense. Certainly outplayed the Lions defense. I don't think those guys played anywhere near to the standard that they had played the week before. So 2nd and 12, 11 personnel, one back power to Craig Reynolds. Down to the boundary side. Nice kick out block by the left guard. Those DBs for the Seahawks are coming downhill to tackle. They are getting involved. So here's the boundary side safety getting a run read, coming downhill. It's a 5-yard gain because he's there to clean up the running back. Could have been more if he's not involved. 3rd and 7. Man, I love this play call. I'm not saying that you should do it all the time. I'm not. But it works in this case. And this just tells you a little bit about Ben Johnson and the Lions and who they are. You got Gibbs in the backfield. It's 3rd and 7. 5 minutes left. You're down 10. That's a passing down. That's a passing down in high school. It's a passing down in every level of college football. He's willing to run trap. I think this is supposed to be trap, and this D-tackle stunts inside. I'll give you the end zone angle so you can see. And it ends up being a log block by the left guard. I'll explain it one time from the All-22. Gibbs gets the first down. If we're able to pick up Bobby Wagner, this could be an even bigger play. So I think they're supposed to trap this guy. The left guard pulls, and at some point he realizes that there's nobody to trap, so he just logs up. Additionally, you've got Laporta, who's base blocking this guy out, so he's trying to expand him in this direction. Doesn't get much expansion, but there's a hole there. And then if they're able to pick up Bobby Wagner, Gibbs might still be running, or he'd have one guy to beat. Here's the D-tackle I'm talking about. Your right guard is trying to swim, influence. The D-tackle engages. Let's give you the end zone angle so you can see what I'm talking about. Hopefully I can convince you of it. I think it's an adjustment by this left guard. That's the guy who's supposed to get trapped. That's the trap block by the left guard. watch this. I'll slow it down and let you guys check it out a couple of times. Hopefully the video frame rate is good for you guys and the video quality is good. If it is not, please let me know. The the online database that I have, that I'm trying to get Lions offense film in and completed. I got it completed for week 1, but not week 2 yet. The video quality sometimes can be a little lower than I would like. So let's look at what happens here. I think you're supposed to get, this guy influence, move up. He's going to try to influence and move up. And in this case, the D tackle engages him. And instead of being trapped, I think 73 adjusts this on the fly. Nobody to trap. Oop, let me just go up to linebacker level. And I think if you're able to get to Wagner, you are in business with Gibbs running downhill. Unfortunately, Wagner's able to close. I understand he played a pretty good game. 3rd and 7, gutsy call. Tells you what Ben Johnson thinks of his O-line, what he thinks of Gibbs, and the expectation level that he has. When you're willing to call a run play on 3rd and 7, that tells everybody we expect you to block. I think there's a different level of commitment that's asked of the guys there in Detroit to block. Anyway, 1st and 10, about 4:40 left, maybe 4:34, something like that. And Laporta down here to the boundary, 23 yards. He kind of runs out of steam or something around about the 10-yard line or the 12. It's this little like fake smash that I see everybody running. Or fake slot fade, I guess, really. Where you're getting a stop route by number 1, and then he's going off in this direction like he's going to go vertical for a slot fade, but instead he breaks the route back down to the inside. Ravens ran it with, I think, Nelson Aguilar this past week against the Bengals, and it was complete and it was open for somebody else later. It's a tough route to cover. The slot defender thinks you're going vertical, or safety thinks you're going vertical, and he's getting off there, and then you snap it back down wide open. All right, run concept for Reynolds. Not much there. 4 minutes left. Still willing to run the football. Downhill run. These DBs tackle. I think that's Witherspoon, the rookie, who played on the left side. I believe that's who that is. 2nd and goal. Hurry up. This is one of the things the Lions do. The Ravens offensive coordinator is doing a lot this year too, is short yardage situations. Hurry up, get to the line, snap the football. It's a nice read by Goff up to the left side. It's a touchdown to Reynolds. Tell me what you think, man. I think Reynolds is playing fantastic football. I saw him make some really nice plays last week against the Chiefs. He's an underrated guy that I think, to this point, for my money, has severely outperformed Marvin Jones, who I expected to come there and play quite well, and I have not seen that impact from him at all. In fact, I thought he was quite inconsistent against the Chiefs. Of course, he had a fumble on a crucial 3rd down. So you get a touchdown to close to 31-28. 3rd and 18, absolute chaos. Multiple missed sack opportunities here. I'm not going to belabor the point too much. Anzalone finishes it off to get a stop. I mean, it's a 17-yard loss or something like that, or maybe a 14-yard loss on 3rd and 18. Geno Smith, I thought, played extremely well. Really questionable decision here. Almost taking a safety. I mean, at that point, he's hopefully got awareness of where he is on the field. I got no idea what it was like to be in that stadium. Maybe one day I'll get a chance to go there. It'd be awesome. But had to be surging, down 31-28, forcing a punt, I think right at the 2-minute warning, I believe. Getting the football back at home on a day that's been disappointing. Well, at one point, you're up 21-17 with the football, right? And go for it in the around the 45 on a 4th and 2. Punt return, man, this one's close. This one is close. You got a lot of space here. Everybody's converging. If you were able to get some people closed off on that side, and there was only one guy there to deal with, a great tackle. So you get the football back, down 3, at home opener, in a season where you've been touted to be one of the best teams in the league. Should say 31-28, shot not 31-29. I think it's actually 144 left, something like that. But in any case, it's going to be Reynolds again. 12 yards. First play of the drive into the boundary, which I think is where Ben Johnson really seems to enjoy attacking. Like I said, I've got all the data entered from week 1 against the Chiefs in terms of down, distance, personnel, field boundary in terms of where the play goes. Now, once I get the data entered for this week against the Seahawks, then I'll be able to hopefully produce an offense data-oriented video that'll have film to illustrate my points. I think this is an interesting formation, and I don't know that I've seen this one this year. from Ben Johnson. So I'll have to go back and look at the Chiefs game. So I'm calling it trips, okay? But I think most of the time you'd have the outside receivers' feet would be like in that position. So it'd be bunch, bunch receivers, 3 people next to each other. But this is Raymond, and this is, I believe, a 12-yard gain, maybe an 11-yard gain on a reverse with inside of 2 minutes left on a reverse to the boundary. Part of this is who you have available on the field. Part of it, if you ask me, I understand that there's people who will listen to this video and say, you should be in the shotgun, you should be throwing the ball. I understand that. I think they've got 3 timeouts left to this point. And like I said earlier, maybe it's possible that Dan Campbell and those guys cooked it a little too long. But that's not necessarily the focus of this video, because I'll be honest with you, I don't watch press conferences and I don't listen to that stuff. Whatever you hear me say is going to be organic. It's going to be based on watching the film. I don't have the time to go watch press conferences and listen to all that stuff for 2 different teams, the Ravens and the Lions I'm trying to cover. This one's a night late. I would have liked to get something like this done on Tuesday night. But I think it says a lot about how Ben Johnson views the players on that team. Everyone can make plays. He's pulling, I think, Laporta, and Laporta gets just enough of Uchenna Nwosu, who's a really, really underrated football player. And then Laporta keeps on going to get out here and try to seal the edge. And this one's close, too. This one's close. 12-yard gain, big moment, had to be exciting in the stadium there. Another 1st and 10, and you're going to get a pass to Gibbs with about 40 seconds left. To this point, I don't believe a timeout has been called. This would be the spot that I'm not sure if you wanted to cook it as long. And again, I don't listen to the press conference. So in the comment section during the premiere or, once the video posts up, feel free to tell me what the situation really was. I think Goff checks left side here to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think you get something like this and an out, and it's Colby Bryant, who covers it up well. I think that guy is a really underrated football player. I totally disagree with the way that a lot of people have talked about him in terms of his pass defense. I do not think he is a guy that is targeted a ton. I don't think he's a guy that gets picked on. He's a badass football player, and Seattle is full of them. Drafted another one, obviously, in Devin Witherspoon. Check down to Gibbs. And at this point, I think the Lions call their first timeout with about 32 seconds left. Maybe it says, I thought it was 32, but it says 26 there. Another pass to St. Brown underneath. I think you can do this stuff when you have your timeouts remaining. My question would be 2 plays ago, taking so much time off the clock. And maybe my timestamps that I have here are wrong. Maybe it wasn't slow played as much as I think it was. Because when I get the plays, I'm getting the individual plays. I'm not getting a continuous file. So flex, another pass to Gibbs underneath. Short yardage or short gain. You would like to see something developed up to the outside, up top, I think. Something out here up top or to the boundary. And I think maybe if Goff holds on to the football a little longer, he could have Laporta down here. It's man to the backside, and he appears to be looking here for whatever reason. He doesn't hold on and let this clear out in terms of that guy clear out and let Laporta get over here. I will tell you, from what I see of Laporta, he can make plays against anybody. Strong safeties, corners, nickel defenders, starting outside corners. Your perception may be different. Feel free to let me know in the comment section. He looks like he's the whole package. He looks like a guy who could be a superstar soon. So ties the game up. Man, you let me know if you were disappointed. I mean, from what I know of Dan Campbell and what they're creating there, they've done so many things right. In this situation, I wouldn't have a problem if a Lions fan was critical of that 4th quarter situation and said, hey, I wish that we had gone after it a little more. I wish we'd been a little bit more aggressive there to try to score a touchdown. I don't know what Seattle's timeout situation was, but what I do know is the defense played really horrible. I produced the defense video already. I'll link it up in the description. I'll link it up now. You should see it pop up here in a moment. And it was a summary video really focusing on overarching or general problems, but there were a lot of them, that you could pick from. Bad tackling, no pressure, poor pass coverage, maybe poor pass coverage concepts in terms of the coverages that were called. I'm talking about covering DK Metcalf solo with Jerry Jacobs. In off coverage, if Jacobs wants to be in press man coverage, fine, be a little bit more aggressive, try to impede him on his route. I still think Metcalf could be a problem. To be honest with you, I understand Campbell's decision if it was made, and he won't say this, if it was made with this in mind. I didn't want them to get the ball back against our defense with the way our defense had played. Because guys got hurt during the game, too. James Houston, the fourth, got hurt. I think Charles Harris got hurt, but I could be wrong there. By the way, I'm trying to get the Lions offense data entered. Usually want to have that done by the end of Tuesday night because Thursday night football, most people just watch Thursday night football, but I'd like to get videos out Thursday, maybe late Thursday night. If you're interested in that kind of thing, it would give you information about the offense. You probably, if you subscribe to I think it's Sharp Football and a couple other people, they'll probably give you, that data as a part of that. But I'm going to try to give you in video form with the plays shown. Appreciate you guys' time. If you checked out the video and you listened this long, really thank you very much. Second of all, if you think other Lions fans would enjoy this content, this look at the attempted comeback to win, they only forced overtime and the offense never got the ball back. I firmly believe if the offense was able to get the ball back down 3 in the overtime, that they would have generated a chance to win. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section.